What's up, everybody, man? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Expert Mentors Live. Man, a couple hundred episodes deep, and it's good to have Mr. Jon Harp on with us today. And I know today is going to be very beneficial for what we're going to dive into. That I've seen, what Jon's been able to put together and do for a long period of time. Having the opportunity, working close with you and Ryan and the team, and then now working close with you and what you're doing. And I really love the concept and what we're going to get into today. So Jon, just quick introduction, a little bit of background about yourself, and let all these honey badgers know what's going on.
Well, hey, thanks so much for having me on. I always love connecting with you, and obviously you're my coach, so I get to talk to you every single week. But thanks for having me on. And I need to get better at the personal introductions. I think I need to sit down and work on that. But I've been in the business 12 years now. Got in right out of college, and I'll talk about this probably here in a little bit. But fortunately for me, I got lucky. I was one of the lucky ones, and got connected with my team leader and my mentor. So I've been with Ryan since day one of my career. I'm still with Ryan. And over the last 12 years, between myself, Ryan, and Ashley, who is our head admin, we built it from the three of us to a top performing team here in Central Ohio. For the last four or 5 years, we've been in the top 10, as high as number 5 in our market. And over the last 12 years, I have found that my passion, I like helping people buy and sell real estate. I like what real estate can do for people, but I love helping agents find success in this business because, like I said, I got lucky. I had a mentor that took me under their wing, and I've been blessed to be in, I don't know, it wasn't the Honey Badger Nation ecosystem for the last 12 years. It wasn't called Honey Badgers back then, but the ecosystem for my whole career. I've been around you and Jay and Mike and Wally and Cliff my whole real estate career. So my passion is now giving back and helping agents find success in this business.
Yeah, absolutely. And being able to get into that right environment is so key. And it's what I always, want to push with newer agents, getting into the business, and especially now, because a lot of them don't have the discipline to do the things that I know you're going to unpack for everybody today. And so I can't stress it enough. If you're new or thinking about getting into the business, your best move is to align with a team that shares the similar values, the same values you have. And that's just going to accelerate. It's going to collapse time and accelerate your career because, in a team dynamic, a team setting, it, like you said, there's an Ashley there that pulls the back end stuff away from you so you can just focus on the things that matter in this business.
Yeah, 100%. I was just talking to someone the other day, and what's the benefits of a team? I said, the benefits of the team is I should be able to get you to your success and your goals faster.
Right.
I should be able to take off, all of the things that you do not like doing within this business, get that out of your wheelhouse, take that on as a team, and let you thrive doing what you're best at. And that's typically, for most salespeople, that is getting in front of buyers and sellers.
It is. And there's also an element of accountability that,
yep.
A lot of people getting into this business are getting in it because they want to control their time. And yet that's where the agents that struggle the most, that are not held accountable or disciplined enough to do the fundamentals and what you're going to really break apart today. And so that team also provides that level of accountability. They provide, proven frameworks, proven structures, like what you're going to share with everybody today. And, they generate ideas for you to stay, of kind of where you're going. And then, like I said, the big piece is the Ashleys, the back end, the admin, and doing some stuff for you. And that's really what the team does. And that's what people want. And that's what people buy. People buy those 4 things, and a great team that aligns to your values is exactly what that is and what that does. So I think that's where, for agents, new, struggling, find a team. I mean, I cannot stress it enough. Find a great team. And, John, I know you're going to give your your information, how to connect. I mean, you're probably one of the best that agents can connect to, and help them uncover what type of team they should look for, what type of team they should, really look to get on to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, not all teams are created equal, right?
Yeah.
And what my mission is to go after the high failure rate in our industry. My mission is to really impact that. I feel that because I got lucky and I got put into a situation to where I had someone that took me under their wing, gave me the one-on-one time, invested their time and their money, for coaching and leads and the support staff from day one. I know that the majority of agents don't, that get into our business don't have that.
Right.
And you can go join teams and you still may not have that,
Right.
So it's just finding the right space and the right people, the right environment, like you said earlier, that really matters. And I always tell people, obviously I'm team biased, but here's the thing: go join a team for 6 months, 12 months minimum. Like, you need more than just leads. You need support. You need to understand this business, right? And who knows, you may find that a team setting's more for you, or you may find that, hey, it served its purpose for the first 12 months of my career, and it sped me along a lot faster. Now it's time to go and do my own thing.
Right. 100%. So, John, I know we're going to get into really, kind of the headline and the topic that we're focused around is really, the basics and the fundamentals that drive your business forward. And so I'd love for you to kind of start to unpack that and really getting into the framework and concept that you're going to get into today, and, give a little history of where this came from, and how, you implemented it and tested it and really running with it to not only grow your business, but grow, hundreds and hundreds of other real estate agents' businesses as well.
Yeah, one of the things that the majority of agents struggle with is they don't know where their business is coming from,
Right.
right? They don't know when it's coming, right? They don't know where it's coming, and they don't know when it's coming.
Right.
And as I have a podcast and other things, but as I've gotten to know other agents and just be in this business for a long period of time, is the majority of real estate agents, this is their second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth career, right? It's not, most people don't come out of high school or college and just jump into real estate right away,
Right.
which means the majority of us don't have a sales background. We don't understand marketing. That was me. I was 22 years old right out of college, right? Like, I didn't have a clue. And I always tell people, if it wasn't for Ryan and me going to that situation, and it was pure luck of how I got there, I wouldn't be in this business. I wouldn't be here. Just my personality, it just wouldn't have worked, right? And so fast forward end of 2019, going into 2020, I really wanted to start to pick up a little bit more of the mentorship coaching. Our team was growing. Our team pretty much doubled in size, when we came over to EXP. And with that, my roles and responsibilities were changing a little bit. I was getting a little bit more out of sales and production, doing more of the coaching and the management side. And then as I wanted to expand that, I was trying to figure out a way to really bring value to not just new agents, but any real estate agent. And, what are the few things that actually drive our business forward? What are the fundamentals? And diving into books and things like that of, the greats of greats, they focus on the basics, they focus on the fundamentals, and they're disciplined around those things.
Right.
So one of the things that I created and that I'm going to share, it's called the Fast Track 120. And it goes over the basics. It allows agents to focus on the fundamentals of prospecting. And it's funny because coming through, NAEA and Kinder Reese and your guys's, coaching and training, and we were talking about this the other day, one of the things I've learned was always to look outside of your business, and you can bring outside business into your real estate business, looking at different business models and ideas and marketing strategies and all those things. And it's funny, I just listened to the Jay Abraham strategic alliances, audio today from NAEA library, and strategic partnerships, and just got my brain going, right? Well, Fast Track 120 actually was created and formed because my wife got introduced to Arbonne which, you know, is clean eating, healthy lifestyle, you know, all those things. But there is a sales multi-level marketing component to that. And her downline that she was a part of, or her upline, I should say, created a success book.
Mm.
So when she joined with them, you know, and was doing this on the side as a side hustle, she got this book, and the book was what allowed her to stay accountable to doing the things to go out and sell Arbonne, and to potentially grab people from you know, her sphere to sign up and become sales reps, right? And I was like, huh, if it works in that space, I know it can work in the real estate space.
Right.
So that's how, you know, the Fast Track 120 was created, was, you know, creating this daily success guide that agents need to follow in order to build their business.
No, it's that framework, right? And really focusing in on the things, you know, daily within their control, that's going to move the business. And you know, starting out from a business standpoint, you know, our focus has really got to be around, like you said, have no clue around the sales and marketing side of things. And so, you know, what my little, you know, thought here, right, is do you have a predictable mechanism, a predictable process in your business to generate opportunities? And that's what you said, is a lot of agents don't know where their next check is coming from, their next client is even coming from. And so, like, one of your strategies has to be a consistent, predictable way that you're either sweat or check equity to create you know, consistent opportunities, and then from there understand the life cycle. So I would love for you to kind of jump in and really start walking through this, you know, your Fast Track 120.
Yeah, can I share my screen, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can everyone see this all right?
Looks great.
All right, let me figure it out on mine. All right, cool. So Fast Track 120, the road to your real estate success starts within these next 120 pages. You know, again, just thinking of different things of how I can take from a different industry. Everyone knows 75 hard, right? You know, this is a challenge. You know, the one thing as you go through this is you're going to find that it's going to be hard to stay disciplined to doing this every single day. So where else can you find me? Social media, thejonharp.com. You know, that goes to my link tree if you guys want to jump on my calendar for a call, or just some of the other tools and things that I have available. Feel free to go there. I created this because of you. You know, like I said, my mission and my goal is, I do not believe that we need to have an 86, 87% failure rate by the end of year 2. I think that's the stat, you know, high 80s, right?
Crazy.
You know, I feel like it does not need to be that way. But that's how our industry is created. So my goal is to go and attack that. This is my favorite quote. I heard this on a podcast, Success Unshared is Failure by John Paul DeJoria. And I truly believe, that's one of my beliefs is, you know, I believe any agent can coach an agent to where they're currently at. I don't care if you don't have, you know, if you only did one transaction, you can coach someone that went from 0 transactions to 1 transaction. If you did 10, you can coach someone from 0 to 10. I feel like it's our obligation as real estate agents, especially the ones of us that are performing at a little bit higher level, to go and share exactly what's working within our business. This video, and you guys are going to get access to this at the end, but this video will explain the Fast Track 120. So that way, when you guys download this and get to digital format, if you're not sure how to fill this out as we go, this QR code will go through this as well. So what drives you, right? When I talk to agents, it's one of the biggest things I always ask is, why did you get into real estate?
Yes.
You know, and I tell agents this all the time, you can make money in any career field that you want, but why specifically did you pick real estate? My experience is typically someone wants more money, they want more freedom, or they want more flexibility within their day. Right. But I want to know, like, what motivates you, right? Get deep with this. What's your financial goal of your business? Or are you trying to make 6 figures? Do you want to make more than that? You want to make, 7 figures? What's the goal for you financially? What do you want out of life? Here's what I found over the last 12 years is the majority of agents will do business based around the lifestyle that they want to live and create.
Correct.
So what's your goal with your life? For me, I'm big on, so my top answer would be freedom and flexibility. To me, it's not about money. So what do I want out of life? I want the ability to travel. My wife and I, we try to travel at least once a month, whether that's a 4-day trip or a week-long trip.
Right.
That's super important to us. And what Ryan taught me in the very beginning of my career was, life comes first, and then you design your work around your life.
Absolutely.
Part of why I joined his team was because he was tired of doing showings at night and on weekends.
Right.
So guess what I got to do? I got to handle every single buyer lead that came through, and I did every single showing every single day. So, think about that though. But a lot of us get that backwards. And I was, someone like that in the beginning of my career. Business, hustle, grind, blah 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 blah. And now as I've gotten older, it's what's really life about? What do you really want out of this life?
It really comes into different seasons, and like you said, a lot of agents get in. This is not their first. Typically, they're not their first career, and some of them get into it by default. Even for me, getting into real estate, it wasn't about getting into real estate. It was about coming in and filling, an integrator operational role. And so kind of defaulted into it. And I think for some, if you have defaulted into it, what's the reason you stay? Why haven't you made a career change? And the thing too, with some of these answers, and this, I think a lot of people struggle with this because they won't take the time to stop and reflect and really get clear on this. And that's where, and John, I'm sure you've seen this, is where you see people not playing all out, not playing to their potential, because they're not clear on what, like you said here on this whole page, what drives them, right? What is that really drives them?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't like making phone calls and calling internet leads every single day of my career, but I knew that it provided me the lifestyle that I wanted to live. And when I was 22 years old and my friends were working at jobs that they didn't necessarily like, but that was what was available. And I was over here, done by 2:00 and hitting happy hour, like it was, that was what real estate brought me, and
Right.
that's why I'm passionate about helping people in this business, is because real estate's been amazing to me. It's been a blessing, and everyone can achieve that. They
Right.
just need to find the right environment and the right people. And you guys are all honey badgers, so you found the right people. Right now, it's checking your environment, your circle, who's around you,
Right.
which is super important. Auditing that circle, but the top 2 core values. I don't know if anyone's ever gone through this exercise. I forget which Brene Brown book that this is in, but I read it at the beginning of 2021, and she has this core value exercise. And a lot of times, we list off core values and then we get to like 8, 10, 15 different core values. Well, she challenges you to go and break it down into your top 2. And these should be the 2 that you absolutely live by, not that you talk about, but the ones that you absolutely live by. For example, mine is reliability and team. So you're going to be able to rely on me to be there to answer the phone, answer your questions, show up. I hate being late. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, is being late. And then teamwork. I'm only as good as my team, right? And I want them to be able to rely on me to help them out in situations, and vice versa.
This doesn't, and me, I push hard on this with the core values, because everything stems from the core values, because it's our it's essentially the like what you're talking about down here, the destination. It's the compass, and it's also, values are also a form of action. So like what you described, your top 2, it's your compass, but it's also the way you behave. It's the way you take action. You act on them. And that's kind of the difference too. understanding, confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is an act. And so you have to act your way by how you behave before you can feel confident. And that's where people, I think, don't take the required action necessary, is because they have to think that they have to feel a certain way before they do. And if we feel, if we just only did things the way we feel, we wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why, uncovering those values of your compass, but also understanding that that's how you're that's the action, right? The two things that drive you the most.
Yeah. And, for me, those two things, I never want someone to say to someone else that I can't rely on Jon, or, Jon's not a team player, right?
Right.
Like, to me, that like stabs me in the heart, if someone were to say that. So, that's what you get, right, with me. And you have to determine what are your top two, core values that you truly live your life by.
Yeah.
And that's not just work, right? That's personal life. That's friendship. That's, if you set a meeting or a time to hang out with your friends, you're showing up, right?
Yeah.
Unless, you're sick or whatever, but you're showing up. You're not canceling last minute. So yeah. And then, what's your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal, right? Like, that's something that I've talked about and heard about since 2011, when I got into this business from you guys, professional and personal. And, this on each side should be the thing that pulls you through any down times, right? It's going to be that motivational. Like, for me to truly have an impact on the failure rate of our industry, like, that's something that's going to have to motivate me, that will motivate me when I feel like I don't want to do it anymore, right?
Right.
When I coming up with new programs and just things to give away and value adds and all those things. So what's that BHAG for you?
Yes.
I explain this as the North Star,
Mhm.
right? This is your direction. This is where, you're never probably going to catch it. You may catch it, but it should be so big that you're always following it, in the sky.
Yeah, it is. It's that, it's it's the top of the mountain. And,
Yeah.
obviously, if you do get to the top of the mountain, obviously on the other side is another mountain, but it's got to be pulling you enough. What it does too, Jon, and everything here, is these are also decision-making filters, and
Mm-hmm.
how we make decisions, and it allows you to make decisions faster. And that's where we tend to stunt or slow our growth, is because we don't have really good filters in place to make the best decisions possible, but also make the best decisions possible faster. And this is
Yeah.
you answering these 5 questions are some great filters to help you make better decisions.
And this should not be a 5-minute exercise, right? Like, you should
Right.
actually put some thought and some emotion into it, to help you with getting that clarity.
Love it.
Sphere of influence, right? So, writing out your sphere of influence list, your 50 people. I find a lot of agents struggle with this. It's anyone in your world, right?
Right.
It's, if you guys haven't watched the Strategic Alliance, or listened to it on the NAEA library, like, just listing off all the strategic partnerships that you could have, that could be part of your sphere of influence list. The list is endless, but
Yeah.
actually going through this exercise and having to write it out, this is going to be something, as far as a system and a tool that you're going to be able to use in your daily success plan. So again, this exercise, it's not going to take you 5 minutes to write this out, and let's just say you only get to 40. Great. Now, you have to add more to it as we go through this process of doing the daily success plan that we'll
Right.
get to here in a second. I'm all about consistency. And there's a book called The Power of Consistency. And in that book, it's essentially saying it's kind of like the compound effect. It's kind of like atomic habits. It's we can't do the right things consistently and get the wrong results. And I think a lot of times we get caught up on thinking of the big results and not looking at the daily stuff. So on the daily success plan that we'll get to here in a second, this breaks down what those activities equal out to. So 5 direct messages or text messages every single day, 15 social media comments every single day, 1 handwritten note, 2 personal phone calls is 23 touches per day. When you actually do that 5 days a week, you're talking 115 touches every single week, which doesn't seem like a lot, right? It doesn't seem like a lot. But now when you start compounding that, 4 weeks in the month, now you're doing 460, 12 months, you're now at 5,500 touches a year.
Crazy.
And some of those touches aren't going to be brand new every single time. You're going to do follow-ups and all those things. But let's just say you convert a 0.5%. I would think all of us in here are good enough with our sales skills and our communication skills that at 0.5% conversion, you're at 27 deals, right? 1%, you're at 55. But the problem is we look at 5,500 is a big number. But if you actually look at it per day, 23, I mean, this should take you an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, right?
Max.
A day, max.
Yeah.
And it's not about, it's about just showing up Monday through Friday and making sure you get these 23 touches in. So next is understanding your hot list and your top 50 lists, right? So I'll start with the top 50 list. That is something that I integrated into my business years ago when I was actively selling a lot more than what I was doing now. And the top 50 list is anyone that you speak to that tells you they're looking to buy or sell in the next 12 months to 18 months. So within the next year and a half, you put their name on this list. This is going to be the list that you stay in front of consistently, following up. My brain works to where I have to write this stuff out. If you guys want to create an Excel spreadsheet and that's how your brain works, it doesn't matter to me. But this list you should be looking at every single day, and you should be trying to add to this list. Our good friend Mike Odo spoke to our team a couple of years ago. It was probably 2-3 years ago now, about prospecting. And he said identifying that lead that raises their hand is the hardest part. The easiest part should be the follow-up. And he's like, when someone identifies themselves as a potential buyer or seller, you got them, right? Now it's just, you got to stay in front of them, right? Because buying and selling real estate is a process. It's not an event. So this top 50 list is so important, because I promise you, if you guys get 50 people on this list, and you can expand it, right? Obviously at 50's, what fits on the page here, but that could be a top 100 list. Out of 50 people, you're going to have closings coming down the pipeline if you truly stay in front of them. So filling out this list should be a challenge for you as you go through this prospecting. And it just allows you to stay in front of the people that have already raised their hand and said, hey, John, I'm looking to buy or sell. It may not be right now, but 12 months from now, I want to get this process started. Minimizing those people that may slip through the cracks if you don't have your systems dialed in. And then your hot list are people that are actively looking or in the next 3 to 4 months, right? These are people that you're probably communicating on a more regular basis. I have 20 slots here, but again, the more that you can add to that list,
what do you define as the hot list? What would you say that criteria would be?
Hot list is just saying, hey, I'm either in the process of looking at homes or going through the listing agreement process, getting the home ready. Or if they're like, hey, like right now it's February, right? So I'm thinking about listing my home in May. That person gets to the hot list, or that buyer is like, hey, I'm not buying right now, but once school's out, I'm gonna start looking. We add that person to the hot list because, again, they're highest priority.
Right.
Those are the people. So if you think about it, right, you got your leads, you got your sphere of influence, you're nurturing them, you're staying in front of them. The goal is then to get them to the hot list and then move them from the hot list, get them to the top 50 list and then move them from the top 50 list to your hot list. So if you have 20 people on your hot list, not all 20 may buy because things happen, but what, 12, 13, 14, 15 may.
Right. What I love about it, and if you kind of adopt this and you have the criteria, our job is, and this is how what we would do with our kind of with the lead flow and who you could assign to you, and you can only assign so many. And so, for example, and I don't know if you work this way, it's not the top 51, it's not the top 52, it's not the top 55, and it's not the top 20. I mean, right here, we're saying there's 70 opportunities here.
Mhm.
And so like for us with it, when they could claim an opportunity, that means that if they were full, they had to push one out. And so if you adopt that, what that's doing is that's always cycling out your hot list, because you should be turning them into closed business. But it should also then start to push, because when you start this in the beginning, like you said, they may be 60, 90, 120 days out. However, just imagine how your business is churning if your top 20 is everybody doing something in the next 90 days.
Yep.
Wow. Right. And so
Yeah.
you're like, man, I got 20 opportunities going to happen in the next 90, 100 days.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Right. And then my
Yep.
top 50 list. So that's how we would always do it. Do you really like, how do you guys kind of subscribe to that with the Fast Track 120? Do you let
For
it
me,
grow?
yeah, for me, it's all about growth, but understanding, I always try to put leads into seasons, right? So like right now would be winter of 2022, or sorry, 2023. And then there's the seasons, my spring people of 2023, and then my summer, and then my fall. And people shift from season to season, right? You may have that summer person that moves up to spring, or that summer person that may move to fall, or fall to next year. So for me, the whole point of this is for agents to see this list grow and see the opportunities that are right in front of them, and minimize the ones that may slip through the cracks if they just left them in their database.
Yeah.
How
Right.
my brain works is I always had to write it out. Like I
Right.
said, if your brain works with an Excel spreadsheet and you condense it to that, that's perfect. But this list, when you look at it every single day, whether it's your hot list or your top 50 list, you should be referencing. Like, prospecting to me is not always just blow through as many phones and contacts as possible. There's something that I call intentional prospecting. Well, you should probably set time aside, either every day or a couple times a week, where you're intentionally prospecting, meaning you're going through this list and saying, oh, I haven't talked to Bob Smith in a month. I should probably just call and check in with him. Or, oh man, this one, it's been 3 months. I need to get a hold of Sally. Right. So for
Yes.
me, it was just, I need to see these names in front of me, because I know that if they made it to this sheet, they told me that they're looking to do something in the
Right.
next 12 to 18 months as a whole.
Do you know too, the little thing that really keeps me at top of mind and prioritize? So it's really prioritizing the hot list and continuing, like you said, like the different seasons. Like, hey, they're out till summer. Hey, they're not going to do anything until the fall. And so that allows you to kind of prioritize and really start to segment. One of the segment factors for me that is a huge motivator is I put the actual dollar amount that would
Mm,
come to my bank account if I help this person make a decision. And so you've got your hot list, your 20, and it's segmented, it's prioritized. But if you had the actual dollar amount that if you help them get into a home or whatever, because this works for
yeah.
whatever business, if you whoever
Right.
you're going to help make a decision, if you put the actual dollar amount, not the volume in real estate, which drives me bananas because volume it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
If you sold 10 million and I sold 10 million and we just start flaunting around 10 million, but yet you only charge 1% and I charge 3, who made more money?
Right. Right.
And that's what, and that's the vanity of this business. And when people, oh, I did X, I want to be, okay, well, what is your top line revenue? And then what is your profit? That's the
Yeah.
numbers I want to talk about. But you got so much ego in this damn business that they won't get down to that real number. And that number matters the most. So what drives me is I love this, right? The prioritizing, segment out who's hot, like who can I
Yep.
help make a decision this week? And then what's the dollar amount if I help them? And that gets me going, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It keeps me
No,
moving.
I love that. I love that. But this, like I said, this is more for, organization and not letting things slip through the cracks. Right.
100%.
And just realizing, the more that you add to either one of these lists, the business should come, right? The closing should happen. If you only have 5 people on your top 50 list and you're fine with that, well, it's going to be hard to get all 5 to close, right? It's just going to be nearly impossible. But if you have 50 on your top 50 list, well, yeah, you're going to get some closings from that.
Right.
And that's just what I just try to coach, agents, is just, get as many added to the pipeline. This is a pipeline business, right? It's not a get rich, sell houses, get someone today. It's how many
Right.
people can I add to my pipeline over the next 12 to 18 months? And then from there, the deals will take care of themselves as long as I do what I'm supposed to do, which is stay in front of them and follow up.
So good. So good.
So this is the daily success plan. This is what you will print off. These next 2 pages is what you'll print off every single day. And I tell agents my day doesn't start until these are printed, right? I'm a paper person. I'm still, I don't know, I'm weird like that. I got to write stuff down, and
I got my
yeah,
paper.
it's just how one thing that you guys taught me early on, that Cliff taught me early on, is just tracking the business. I had a daily tracker sheet that I created. I had a weekly tracker sheet that I created. And this is part of this. This is just a different iteration of that, but daily gratitude. Just what are you grateful for today? It could be something so small, but it just helps with your mindset. I'm a big mindset guy. Affirmations. What are you trying to accomplish? What do you want to go after? We got to make sure that's always top of mind. So I start my morning off with these 2 things. And for me, it's the same affirmation for all 25, right? Until I accomplish that goal. So for me right now, and what I'm trying to accomplish is, it's I will and I have enjoyed attracting agents to eXp Realty in 2023, right? So that's my affirmation every single day, that I have done it and I actually do enjoy it, bringing agents to this company this year. So that's the one I'm writing out right now. Obviously for you guys, it may be different, but we do this exercise every single day. And then this is what you really want to follow on a consistent basis. I always tell people, unlike the 75 hard challenge, and I'll use that as an example. 75 hard is about, it's not necessarily about perfection, but if you don't hit one of those things, you technically are supposed to start over, right? For me, and what I coach agents on, is it's about consistency. It's about showing up more days than not. It's about winning more days than losing. And this is a combination of what you should be focusing on, how you should be prospecting, and ultimately tracking your business every single day. So I believe, and John, you've helped me with this belief as well, that we can't really handle more than 3 things.
That's right.
At one time, right? I believe in having 2 to 3 business pillars. What are the foundational pieces to your business that you want to focus on? I believe in having 3 priorities, and you helped me with this greatly. 3 priorities every quarter, right? No more than 3. Sometimes that may be 1 priority a quarter.
Right.
So you'll see at the top, what are your 3 goals for today? And changing your mindset away from a to-do list to a success list. 3 goals for today would be, if I get these 3 things done, that is a successful day. For me, it may be, hey, set a new face-to-face appointment for this coming week. It may be, I have to, record my podcast with a new agent that I've never spoken to before. It may be go and get someone to sign up to come over to EXP, right? It doesn't matter what it is, but it can't be fill out my paperwork to submit to my broker, right? Like that's a to-do list. That's not a success list.
Right.
So what are 3 goals that you want to get focused on and accomplish every that day? 5 direct messages, either DMs or text messages, and you want to list out their names. So you want to start tracking who you're reaching out to. If it's on social media, obviously that helps your algorithm, right? With awareness. If it's text messages, that's cool too. And then 15 comments. I'm a big Gary V guy. He has the $1.80 strategy. Leave your 2 cents on 90 different comments every single day. The whole comment thing is about being authentic and truly caring and leaving a meaningful comment based off of that person's post. Like, to me, happy birthday doesn't count, or congratulations doesn't count. If you can get 4, 5, 6 words, or 1 or 2 sentences on a comment, that's the type of comments that would count towards this 15. Because again, what we're doing there is we're showing, for me, and what my strategy is showing agents that, one, I'm here, and one, that I care. For you guys, if you're going out and getting, trying to get buyer sellers from your sphere, it's in just engaging with them to create a conversation. So 15 comments. And then what that also does is, now when you're posting stuff on your social media platforms, your stuff's showing up into their newsfeed, into their algorithm. And I'll tell you, it's harder than what it sounds like, because Facebook and Instagram are only putting the people in front of you that you most get engaged with.
Right.
So sometimes you have to go through your friends list and actually find people that you want to start, that you want to start engaging with. And from a real estate agent standpoint, you guys want to look for life events, right? People buy and sell houses because of a life event. Typically, people don't buy and sell just because they want to move. We had some of that in 2021 and 2022 because the equity that people were getting, or the interest rates were so low. But for the majority of people, they're buying or selling because of a death in the family, a divorce, a new marriage, an engagement, a baby was born, kids graduated high school and went off to college. Kids are turning 5 or 6 and getting into school, right? Like, you want to look for those types of posts to really either send a direct message on or comment on. And those people should potentially get added to your sphere of influence list, or maybe even your top 50 list, because usually when one of those events happen, a sale is going to follow at some point within the near future. So that's how you want to think about engaging on the comments. 3 social media posts, listings, real estate activities. I always, one thing I subscribe to is document, not create. So people want to see that you're busy doing real estate.
Right.
Sometimes I'll post about me being at prospecting night just to let people know that I'm hitting the phones, right? Share a post. If there's a local business in your market, or local businesses, share their business page on your page. You're now tapping into their following. And then obviously personal posts, out with, your significant other, kids, whatever it may be. But get 3 posts in every single day. 1 hour of training, reading, or podcasting. For me, that just helps get my mind right, to tackle the day, to prospect, to do all of those things. 1 handwritten note and gather 1 address. So again, some of those life events that you're looking for on social media, instead of you leaving a comment, that may just mean a handwritten note. You'd be surprised at how far a nice handwritten note goes. Gathering 1 address, obviously, again, we're just hitting people by land, by air, by sea, right? Social media, text, email, and now in the mailbox. So gathering that address is important. Phone calls. So if you're not on a leads team, try doing 2 SOI calls every single day. Again, using social media as a tool. One good thing about coaching other agents is I get to learn from other people that I coach.
Sure.
Right? I built my business through leads. One of the agents that I coach now did it all through Sphere and Facebook. Younger than me, and I got to learn from him of utilizing social media as a tool, not as a thing to consume all the time. So when you're looking for those life events, that's a great way to reach out to someone via phone. Hey, John, I just saw that, the oldest graduated high school. Hey, just want to be congratulations. What are you guys going to do with all your free time now? It's a simple conversation, but our job as agents is to stay top of mind, to create awareness, right? Like I don't need to bring up real estate in that call, but I need John to hear my name and to hear my voice, right? And then if you're on a leads team, 25 calls a day at a minimum, right? And again, 25 calls doesn't seem like a lot, but when you do that consistently over time, you're going to get business. And then notes for the day, any takeaways, any notes from your calls, anything along those lines. And then at the bottom right-hand corner is your score. Out of those 23 touch points, how many did you get? Okay. I don't coach or preach perfection. I believe we're human, right? Every day we're not going to get 23, but when we track that day in and day out, is that score 5 consistently? Or is that score 15, 17, 18, 20 consistently? Are we winning more days than we're losing? There will be days where you don't do it. There'll be days where you only get 2 things done, right? Life happens, but to get to that next level in your business, you want to win more days than you're losing.
So,
And
John, touch through how you tally up for the 23.
so the 23 are the 5 direct messages, the 15 comments, the 1 handwritten note, and then the 2 SOI calls.
Okay.
So if you don't do the 2 SOI calls and you do the 25 calls, that equals the 2.
Okay.
Does that
Gotcha.
make sense?
Okay. It makes sense. Got it.
So, so that's how you just tally up, the score for the day. And again, it's not, I'm not out here. I understand, we're not out here, talking perfection. Obviously, if you want to get your business to the highest level, yeah, you want to crush this every single day. But again, it's about winning more days than not. And what I found over 12 years is consistency is the biggest thing.
It is.
Are we showing up every single day and prospecting?
I love it. Love it.
So that's so the front side, right? I do a front and back. So the front side is your gratitudes and affirmations. The back side is this.
Success.
And like I said, my day doesn't start until this is printed off. I get into the office, I print it, and I get rocking and rolling. So, this guide is, again, for agents, right? The biggest thing is they don't know where their business is coming from and they don't know when. This clears up what you need to be focusing on every single day.
Proactive.
I promise. Yeah. If you do these things, and if you do these things consistently, you don't have to think. Like, that's the thing, is you don't have to think. All right, if I get my 5 messages in, if I get my 15 comments done, if I do some social media content, get a training in, so get our mind right, let's do a handwritten note and some phone calls.
That's it. Boom.
Don't you talked about the distractions earlier. You got to put the blinders on, right? Like
100%.
the filters, we need to put filters. And this just kind of clears some things up for real estate agents that may wake up some days and say, hey, I don't know what to do today.
Right. This is it. You know exactly what you've got to do.
Yep.
Yeah. So good, man. So good. So do you have a where you keep tally and keep of the days?
Yeah. So I actually I don't have it out. I actually have a folder. So I'm old school. I got every day I put the date on the top. I put the date on the top of the sheet, and I stuff it in my folder. I mean, the one thing that you guys have always taught me is tracking your business, right? If we don't know how we're performing or where deals are coming from or what's working, what's not working, then we don't really have a business. We're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, right?
Do you have where you keep track of it, where you can look at it over a period of time to kind of see?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, but so right now I just started the latest challenge January 1st. And you guys are going to be able to join in on the challenge. And right now we're on day 39. So I'm going to go back through the first month and see, how I did for that first month. And again, Fast Track 120, guys, this is 120 days of you following this daily success plan.
Yeah.
Right. The reason why I did 120 days is that's 4 months. That allows you to build the momentum in the pipeline within the business. This isn't a 30-day thing.
Right.
This is 120 days, and then you still continuing that. By the end of 4 months, you should have that muscle of prospecting. The muscle of discipline to get this done every single day.
Right.
And the best part is, and I find myself doing this, a lot too, is these activities you can do at night. Right? Like you can do your comments at 10 p.m. You can do direct message. It's weird that, us as humans, if someone DMs me on Facebook or Instagram at 11:30, I don't get annoyed or pissed off about it. But if someone texts me, then that's a little bit different story. Right.
Sure.
So like these things you can get done early in the morning, you can get done late at night. You can piece it out throughout the day. You don't have to sit down and just do it, in a 2-hour block.
No, I love it. It just gives them a framework, a simple framework to be proactive, to create engagement that'll lead to conversations.
Yep.
And then to determine, am I adding you to my top 50 and what do I got to do to get you into my top 20?
Yeah, for sure.
So good.
For sure.
So John, how can they get connected and dive in and get a copy of this and get rolling with the Fast Track 120?
You can go to 120, so the number 120 challenge.phonesites.com. 120challenge.phonesites.com.
Okay.
If you guys don't know about Phone Sites, that is a Ryan Stewman program and software. It's a great system and tool for real estate agents to create landing pages and squeeze pages and all of that stuff. So 120challenge.phonesites.com. You also can go to thejohnharp.com, and if you want to jump in a calendar with me, and I can get you set up that way as well.
Perfect. I love it, man. This is what this this series, the Expert Mentor series, is really all about, is pulling from the honey badgers that just are doing things that are working in today's market and really coming on and coming from a place of abundance and sharing. And so I really appreciate you carving out the time, jumping in here and sharing this process with everybody.
No, I love it. I love it. Thanks for thinking of me and having me on and giving me the opportunity to share.
For sure. And I know we'll have you back on in the future. All right,
Awesome.
guys, make sure you guys get connected. 120challenge.phonesites.com. Hit up the Jon Harp everywhere on social media, and make sure you guys get connected. And I know, John, you're also on Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, yes. I do a room on Clubhouse. It's called the Daily Real Estate Huddle. Again, something that I took from you guys in our NAEA days, but we just get real estate professionals together and we just talk real estate, not just real estate agents, but we got lenders, title company reps, home warranty reps, home inspectors. And, again, it's just about community over competition, right?
Yeah.
I believe that there's enough out there for all of us, and it's my obligation and duty to make sure I give back to my real estate community.
Love it. It's awesome, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you give John lots of love, get connected, and we'll see you guys next time.